Good afternoon. Can you hear me out there? Is that better, or do we need more volume? Welcome to this gathering to pay honor to Bob Birt today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Al Jadel. I'm the chairman of the board of the Institute for Conflict Resolution. And I'd just like to take a moment to introduce those other people who are here on the stage with me. At my left is Father Pierre Birt-CICR, Director of St. Paul's University. Next to him, Pat Finn, from whom you'll be hearing a few words in a few minutes. Next to him, Michel Devignon, who will be the incoming chairman of the board of the Institute. On my immediate right here, Charles Kent, chairman of the Council of Governors, and Bob Birt, the person for whom we're here today. I'd just like to say welcome. It's good to see you all here, and a few words of my own. In opening, I've been involved with the Institute almost from the beginning, and I must say I get a great deal of pleasure from and appreciation for the people who've committed their time and efforts to the Institute over these years. From my experience, there's been a significant increase in the appreciation for conflict resolution mechanisms and processes in our society, much more so in the last few years than there was previously. And I think the Institute has made a place for itself, particularly in the field of community-based conflict resolution. And as far as the Institute's involvement in that activity is concerned, I think it's almost totally attributable to the efforts of Bob Birt. And we're here today to pay honor to him. With that, I'd like to call on Pat Finn to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Al. I'm the chair of Fellows of the Canadian Institute for Conflict Resolution, but I'm also on the board of directors of something called the Dispute Resolution Centre for Ottawa Carleton. Historically, the Dispute Resolution Centre, which is a local Ottawa-based organization, is the child that gave birth to this particular parent. About 8 years ago, several of us who are in this room, Bernie Tanis, Michel Davignon, Bob Birt, and myself, were on the board of directors of the DRCOC. We started looking around for a parent body, a national body that would be interested in alternate dispute resolution, conflict resolution. We were unable to find a body that we thought could give us the intellectual, theoretical, and academic underpinning that we needed for the kind of work we were doing in the community. At that time, we were mainly engaged in conflict resolution in the school system, specifically Woodruff, which is where Ivan Roy was the vice principal and was helpful in getting that up and running for us, a very successful program. Some of the members of the board of the DRCOC decided that it was time that we had such a national body, and they left the board and formed the Canadian Institute for Conflict Resolution. Now, Bob served as a chair of the DRCOC. He was one of the board members who left to develop the CICR. He then stayed on in that role. Eventually he left and went to the States, but he finally returned and he helped resurrect the CICR, put it back into St. Paul University where it had been originally and then had moved from, which was a welcoming, hospitable environment to help grow this concept and foster a national identity for conflict resolution. All those things were seminally aided by the presence of Bob Birt, and I'm honored to be here tonight to participate in this event that recognizes his contribution both to the CICR but also to the Ottawa area through his work in the DRC. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Now I'd like to call on Pierre Hurtubise, Director of St. Paul's University, to say a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be with you tonight and represent the St. Paul University that has acted for the last few years as the landlord for the Canadian Institute of Conflict Resolution. I think we've been a good and generous landlord. I'm told that by Vice Rector Administration once in a while. But I think it's for a very good cause, and from the very beginning we believed in the CICR, and that's why we were very happy to accommodate the Institute here at St. Paul. I think at the beginning the Institute was looking for some place to attach itself to, and I think they looked at the two universities here in Ottawa, and they were told by the presidents of both these universities their natural home was St. Paul University. And I think now we are convinced, and they are convinced, that it is their natural home. And we hope they will stay around for a long time and continue developing along the lines of the mission the directors of the Institute, the creators of the Institute, gave the Institute from the very beginning. I also have I must say, as more than a landlord, I am a very good friend of Bob Birt. Bob comes in my office once in a while to get, I suppose, some encouragement at some difficult times in the development of the Institute and in his own, the problems he has to face as responsible for the development of the Institute. And I'm always very happy to have him in my office and hear about the development of the Institute and the problems they're facing and the ways he's trying to solve these problems. And I think he has been extremely devoted to the Institute, very able in finding practical solutions to some of the problems he had to face. He has been very perseverant in the efforts he has put into developing the Institute, and I think he deserves very much the recognition that will be given to him tonight. And I applaud the decision of the Institute to give him this token recognition for all his efforts in favor of the Institute and the development in the line of conflict resolution in this city and in association with our university. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Father. And we are indeed, we the Institute, thankful for the assistance and help that St. Paul's has given to the Institute over the years. I don't know how we would have survived without it. Having said that, I would like to now call on Charles Kent, the Chairman of the Council of Governors, to make the presentation. Charles.
Ladies and gentlemen, and Father Landlord, it is my great pleasure to be here tonight and to take part in this celebration, because that's what it is. I was asked if I would take part in the actual presentation of the certificate to Bob, and I'm delighted to. I was also asked if I might present Bob with officially with a volume of letters of approval, endorsement, whatever. There are a number of letters here which I will not reveal their contents other than peripherally, and if any of you are interested and Bob permits, after I present him with this, you might get a peek at some of these letters. But I will read my letter. And it's a Dear Bob letter. Dated today. My secretary was not happy, but she persevered beyond her date for leaving the office to get this together. And it reads, Dear Bob, in my capacity as chair of the Council of Governors, I am pleased to present you with the accompanying binder containing numerous letters from our colleagues attesting to your significant contribution locally, nationally, and internationally in the field of conflict resolution. As the variety of backgrounds of those who have written these letters, as well as the contents of these letters will testify, your contribution to conflict resolution has been significant, far-reaching, and deeply appreciated. From my own perspective, having been exposed to your work at CICR through both the Board of Trade and my own legal practice, I am both pleased and honored to have been associated with you and CICR over the last few years. I have seen your efforts on behalf of CICR have a profound, positive, that was a legalism, but profound could go both ways, you know, positive influence on the Ottawa business and legal communities in developing in those groups awareness and abilities in non-adversarial techniques for resolving disputes and conflicts. For your continuous efforts in this regard, I thank you. I would also just share with you a couple of comments from the letters that have come in to give some of you, I think all of us in this room know a part of Bob Birt and his activities. Some of us know pretty well fully what he has done himself and through CICR, but I think there's some statements in these letters that really do flesh out the contribution and the effort that Bob has made. And I'll read one from, or part of, Richard Riley, who has sent a letter from the American Arbitration Association. To put it simply, he's referring to Bob, has done a great job for you both in Canada and the U.S. I have seen him in action a number of times over the past 5 years. He has run conferences, workshops, and has produced newsletters. He has developed a structure from which you can continue to expand your institute. I would like to say to people, don't tell me what you're going to do, show me what you have done. That does sound like Bob, doesn't it? Give me a white rock on which you have already accomplished, paper, program, etc. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Bob has produced structured training programs where there were very few in the past. He has held week-long workshops when others would have given up hope of getting it off the ground because of problems. He has networked throughout Canada and the U.S. and is an expert mediator. Now, there's some other good stuff in that letter, but that, for my purposes, starts to round out the Bob Birt that we know or would want to know. And Dr. Father Hirschbees has also provided